today we create this typewriter effect in CSS and HTML. So let's go. In order to get started, we create a div with the class of container, and inside of this container we create a paragraph that has the class Typewriter. We can, for example, use a text that could say, I am learning CSS ... and then we save our document and we have this file right now. So let's go into our style sheet and start to style our text by targeting our .typewriter class. Let's say the color is white, and I'm going to take a look at this class. I'm going to copy this one, or I'm going to correct the mistake. And now we'll say that we want to have a font family of monospace, for example. We want to have a font size of 20 pixels, and this should be pretty good right now. So as a next step, we need to give our typewriter class a width of 0 so that it completely disappears. And we need to use overflow hidden, so it's actually going to disappear. Then we need to use white space of no rep, and I'm going to disable overflow for a second so you basically see the difference. If I don't have no rep, it's basically going to wrap into the next line, but if I use no rep, it is not going to wrap into the new line. And as you can see, once I have no rep, it's basically just one line, and that is exactly what we want to have. So let's go with overflow hidden again, and now let's focus on creating our animation. So the first thing we need to do is use add keyframes to create an animation. We can give our animation the name of typewriter, for example. Now we can say that we want to start from width of 0, for example, and we want to go to width of 27 characters. And now, once we save, nothing is going to happen because we need to use our animation. So we can, for example, say, let's use our animation. Let's use our typewriter animation. Let's use it within 4 seconds. Our timing function is basically a step function, which means that we are going to play our function in certain steps. So it's going to be pretty abrupt, but this is exactly what we need when we create a typewriter function. And since we have 27 characters, we want to use 27 steps. And we want to display each step at the end of one step. Now let's not use a delay, let's not use an iteration count, and let's use forwards as the animation mode. And now we basically have this typewriter effect already. So this is not what we are looking for though. First of all, we want to have our text centered, and we want to have this typewriter spacebar at the end. So first of all, let's center our text by using .container. So let's give our container a width of 60%, and let's say we want to center our container though by using margin auto, and now we have this typewriter effect basically. But as you can see, it's not really centered now, so we can use a width of 27 characters basically, and now we have it centered because we will have 27 characters in the end, as you can see. And even if we maximize our window, it is still in the center. So let's focus on adding our spacebar at the end by using a border left of 2 pixels, solid and white. And as you can see, we now have this border, but we want to have our border at the right. So that was my mistake. So let's use border right. And now we have this effect right here with the spacebar. Obviously you could have it like that, but we want to change this slightly. Maybe 27 steps is also a little bit too much. So let's change that to probably 20 steps. And let's say we have 20 steps as well here. Whoops, my bad, 20 steps. So 20 doesn't look perfect, so let's say we want to stop at 21 steps. So we go here, we say 21 steps, we add 21 steps here as well, and we'll add a width of 21 steps as well, or characters. And now we have this effect. So now we want to make this cursor blink basically, and in order to do so, we'll create a second animation. We'll call this one blink, we'll add 50%, and at the middle of the animation, we want to have a blink. So we say that we want to have a border color of transparent at 50%, which will make it basically invisible. So this will make our border invisible. And now we can add that animation by using a comma. And we can say we want to use blink 0.7 seconds for the length of the animation. As a timing function, we want to use step end, which is equal to using steps of 1 and saying end. So we could do this as well. And now once we save, we basically have this blink effect, as you can see. But we obviously want to loop our animation forever, so we are going to add infinite. And now we have this blinking cursor at the end of our text. And this is how you add a typewriter effect inside of CSS.